huge development with Facebook and the FBI and what they have been up to, going up against the American people who question certain narratives going on there with the election. So this is out of the New York Post from Miranda Devine, that Facebook was actually spying on private messages of Americans who dared question the 2020 election. If you can believe that, and you should, because it's going to go on and it's multiple publications. So Facebook has been spying on the private messages and data of American users and reporting them to the FBI if they express anti-government or anti-authority sentiments or question the 2020 election, according to sources within the Department of Justice. No, this is not China. This is not North Korea or Iran or any of these totalitarian countries. This is right here in the United States. So under the FBI collaboration operation, somebody at Facebook red flagged these supposedly subversive private messages in the past 19 months and transmitted them in redacted form to the Domestic Terrorism Operational Unit at FBI headquarters in D.C. without a subpoena. So it looks like FBI and Facebook are just joined at the hip. This was done outside the legal process and without probable cause. So did they do this during a 2016 election when a lot of Democrats were outraged, perhaps thinking falsely that we found out now that Trump was colluding with the Russians to overthrow the election? Were those people targeted? So Facebook provides the FBI with private conversations which are protected by the First Amendment without a subpoena. So this is a heavily politicized environment that we are in, and it seems like the establishment right now is freaking out that people are looking into things that they would rather you not. So they're going to use Gestapo tactics to intimidate you and your friends and family on your social media platforms where you think you should have a First Amendment right to discuss what you want. But thankfully, one of the sources familiar with these subpoena requests, one of these whistleblowers internally, who said, this is a waste of time. After a 19-month frenzy by FBI headquarters to produce the caseload to match the Biden administration's rhetoric on domestic terrorism after January 6th. The Facebook users whose private communications they had red flagged as domestic terrorism were just, conservative right-wing individuals. Sure, they're gun-toting. This is a First Amendment, Second Amendment, red-blooded Americans angry after the election and saying, hey, this is BS, but I can't say this on regular Facebook because they'll censor me. They'll suspend my account for 30 days. So maybe I'll just, communicate internally, and then Facebook is going to flag that and send it off to the FBI as you might be a suspected domestic terrorist. Just totally insane, over the top, and should not happen in America, period. So they're mad, they're shooting their mouths off, they're talking about staging protests, but there was nothing criminal, nothing about violence or massacring or assassinating anybody. So as soon as the subpoena was requested, within an hour, Facebook sent gigabytes of data and photos ready to go, just waiting for that legal process so they could send it. Now, Facebook apparently denied the allegations from Erica Sakin, a spokesperson of Meta, claimed Facebook's interactions with the FBI were designed to protect people from harm. Well, that's if you believe that. This PR disaster, as they don't want people to start leaving Facebook in droves because you can't trust them. Not only do they censor your political opinions, but they're also spying on your instant messages to people. So Facebook's denial that it proactively provides the FBI with private user data without a subpoena or search warrant, if true, would indicate that the initial transfer has been done by a person or persons at the company designated as a confidential human source by the FBI, someone with the authority to access and search users' private messages. This way, Facebook would have plausible deniability, which is probably what's going on, if questions arose about the misuse of users' data and its employees' confidentiality would be protected by the FBI. Fortunately, there are plenty of good people still in these levels of government and in all of these corporations, and some have decided to speak out to the Post, risk their careers because they are concerned that federal law enforcement has been politicized and is abusing the constitutional rights of innocent Americans. So they say there are more whistleblowers ready to join them. Very good. Unrest has been building among the rank and file across the FBI and in some parts of the Department of Justice for months. Came to a head after President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home raided in Florida. Saying the most frightening thing is the combined power of big tech colluding with the enforcement arm of the FBI. Google, Facebook, Twitter, these companies are globalists. They do not have our national interest at heart. But wait, there's more. Zuckerberg says Facebook censored the Post's Hunter Biden stories because the FBI warned of the Russian misinfo dump. So this is where it continues with FBI and Facebook and their relationship, if you will. Facebook suppressed the Post's blockbuster revelation of Hunter Biden's infamous laptop in response to a vague FBI warning about possible Russian propaganda that tied to the 2020 presidential election. And according to the founder, Mark Zuckerberg, and I got to give him kudos for all of the things we could criticize him for, he did show up on Joe Rogan podcast and say that he was, the FBI came to him and said that there's this happening. You should go be on the lookout for it. And whether he knew it or not, he's going to follow those orders and assume that they're telling the truth. Now, later we found out that they were covering up that story because it would have been damaging to the establishment candidate that they wanted to defeat Trump. So it was some pretty serious collusion, real collusion at the very highest levels.
Like there was a lot of attention on Twitter during the election because of the Hunter Biden laptop story. The New York Post.
Yeah, we had that too.
Yeah, so you guys censored that as well?
So we took a different path than Twitter. Basically the background here is the FBI, I think, basically came to us, some folks on our team, and was like, hey, just so you know, like you should be on high alert. We thought that there was a lot of Russian propaganda in the 2016 election. We have it on notice that basically there's about to be some kind of dump of that's similar to that. So just be vigilant. A lot of people were still able to share it. We got a lot of complaints that was the case. Obviously this is a hyper-political issue, so depending on what side of the political spectrum, you either think we didn't censor it enough or censored it way too much. But we weren't sort of as black and white about it as Twitter. We just kind of thought, hey, look, if the FBI, which I still view as a legitimate institution in this country, it's like very professional law enforcement, they come to us and tell us that we need to be on guard about something, then I want to take that seriously.
Well, there you have it. Facebook and the FBI actually colluding about the elections. You had Zuckerberg and all of his money being dumped into some of these swing states. You had the suppressing of the Hunter Biden laptop story. And if people are, concerned about the election results from the 2020, then they are, censored off of Facebook. And now that your private messages are being scrutinized, sent to the FBI. You're being put on a domestic terrorism list. Everybody's a target in this new politicized era as we head towards the midterm. So thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time.